Today, I'm going to be talking about breaking the debit cycle in the case for free public college. What would you do with $30,000? Maybe buy a car, put a down payment on a home, or even launch a small business. Now imagine that same $30,000 is the average debt a student carries after earning a bachelor's degree in the United States. For too many Americans, this is not a hypothetical, it's a reality. Today I want to persuade you that free public college education is not only necessary but inevitable if we are serious about equity, innovation, and long-term economic growth. Let's start with the facts. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, the average tuition and fees for a four-year public college in 2023 were over $10,000 per year for in-state students, and more than triple that for private colleges. And that's not including housing, textbooks, or transportation. This cost leads to debt. $1.77 trillion of it. According to the Federal Reserve, that's more than Americans owe on credit cards or auto loans. This is a system that punishes people for seeking opportunity. It traps them in debt just for trying to access what they should be for the public good. Now, imagine a different reality where students can pursue higher education without the fear of living in long-time debt. This isn't some unthought-upon fantasy. Countries like Germany, Norway, and Finland already offer free public higher education. And they see the benefits: higher graduation rates, lower unemployment, and increased national productivity. Let's talk economics. According to a study from the Roosevelt Institute, implementing tuition-free public college in the U.S. could generate $500 billion in economic growth over 10 years. Why? Because graduates would have more disposable income to invest in homes, families, and businesses, instead of paying off loans. There's also a social return of investment. A 2020 Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce study found that college graduates contribute significantly more in taxes over their lifetimes, an average of $278,000 more than higher high school graduates. Let's address the elephant in the room. Free college isn't really free. Who's going to pay for it? A fair question, but here's the truth. Public education is already publicly funded from kindergarten through 12th grade. We don't ask third graders to take out loans to pay for math class, do we? Why should we expect 18-year-olds and college students to do it too? President Biden's 2021 proposal for tuition-free community college was estimated to cost $109 billion over 10 years. That's less than 2% of the current U.S. federal budget. Consider that the U.S. spent nearly $877 billion on defense in 2022. According to Statista, if we can afford nearly $1 trillion on weapons, we can afford to educate our citizens. Now, another opposition that could be free college devalues a degree. On that note, making education more accessible doesn't reduce its value, it increases the talent pool. We've seen this in other nations, with even like states like New York, Oregon, that offer free community college programs. In fact, or even like California. The Century Foundation showed that the tuition fee programs increase enrollment and diversity on campuses, raising the quality of academic disclosure, not lowering it. Let me tell you about Alejandra, a first-generation student from California who shared her story in 2023. PBS NewsHour segment said she worked 2 part-time jobs, took night classes, and still graduated with over having $40,000 in debt. Today she's a nurse, a job we desperately need more people in, but she spends nearly 20% of her paycheck on loan payments. Now imagine Alejandra without that debt. Maybe she'd start a clinic, go back to school for a master's, or simply have freedom to breathe without financial anxiety. So what does this look like in practice? The federal state governments partnering to fund tuition fees, expanding successful models, implementing policies to ensure quality. Education is supposed to be the great equalizer, but when the cost of a degree locks a student into debt or out of the system altogether, that promise becomes a lie. Let's fix that. Let's invest in people, in potential, and in progress. Free public college is not a handout. It's a pay-it-forward investment in our collective future. Thank you.